Good evening, fight fans. Welcome to another great episode of Headkicks and Haymakers. I'm your boy Bodkins, and of course, with me is my guy Bobby Blunts. Mr. Witt will be joining us here shortly. But Bobby, we got a jam-packed show today. We're going to have Donn Davis joining us shortly. We will have. We're going to have, we got UFC 318 to talk about, plus a plethora of boxing. But we will back up and we will talk about none other than this past weekend. And that is, UFC Nashville. We got Derek Lewis highlight and, great celebration. And Wonder Boy was robbed on Saturday. Your thoughts on UFC Nashville?
Absolutely over-delivered. The prelims are great. The main card was pretty electric. Definitely with you on the Wonder Boy robbery. His opponent just held him against the fence for that third round. If someone wanted to tell me that he won all three rounds, I really wouldn't have too much of a pushback. I did have a 1-1 going into the third, but it was just a shame to see because he's still like one of the old heads that's still in the rankings, defending his ranking, and now he gets booted out kind of unceremoniously. I guess you could make the argument that the fight was close enough to where either side would win. So I could see if someone would take issue with me using the word robbery, but fuck that. It was a robbery. I mean, this is Wonder Boy we're talking about. Like, how are you going to rob, like, the nicest motherfucker in the UFC? So, Nate the Train in the last Pirate, that definitely deserved the fight of the night. That one was hell of a comeback from the last Pirate there. I mean, I think Nate was like a plus 350, 400 going into that third round. So he definitely knew he needed a finish, and he got it done. Pretty brutal stoppage, but definitely agreed with it. Wish I could say the same about the main event. In real time, I may have been kind of overindulging a little because the fantasy draft earlier in the day. So when I saw Derek Lewis get the finish, I just dropped down to the floor, did the patent Derek Lewis. And then you texted me being like, that was a little early. And I was like, yeah, it kind of was. But then when I watched it back, it absolutely was early. I think Herzog would have been in the right to stop it prior to him getting up by literally grabbing the fence, but that's a whole other can of worms.
Yes, but I said that. So I'm with you. Initially, I was like, that was an early stoppage. But then when I watched it back and realized, like on the replay, like how he used the whole fence, like he literally climbed the whole fence, like he was like climbing out of the Jurassic Park cage, from T-Rex to hop over the fence, like. That's that's what I got. Like I was like, okay, it was a good stoppage. Like he deserved it because like if you keep the fight going, like what are you doing here? Like, you know what I mean? It's gonna be like a 10-7 round.
Well, not only that, like let's say for example, Jason decided to take the point. That would have required some stop in the action, would have given him plenty of time to recover. So, though I do think the stoppage was early, I guess I just say I don't have too much of a problem with it, seeing him blatantly cheat to kind of climb back up. Definitely love the T-Rex shout out because it's kind of what it looked like there. But, I mean, just the aftermath of him celebrating was amazing. Throwing, at first he started with the bows and arrows, but then ripping off the shorts and going to his opponent's corner
and doing the
lifting his leg, marking his territory. Like Derek Lewis is just one of one. So, I'm sure Nashville really appreciated that. And even the post-fight speech is definitely a one-of-one Derek Lewis.
Yeah.
So, I get if people want to say unceremonious way to end the night, but
I don't know if it's unceremoniously. Give me that celebration every night. Like, give me that feel good Derek Lewis in the cage doing Derek Lewis things every time. Like, that's who Derek Lewis is, and that's why people love him. Like, give me that all the time. Like,
yeah, exactly, and that's like why in real time it didn't really like bug me too much.
Yes.
I've seen far more egregious stoppages. The only thing that kind of threw me off of it was after he got up, then he decided to, pop in, which, I could have done without. But, going back after it's already over, like the fight's done. So, what are we doing at that point?
Yeah, agreed. Loved it. Loved Derek Lewis. Always, I told you before the fight, it's the reason I picked him. I'll probably always pick Derek Lewis. He's just one of my favorite fighters all time. I just love the personality, who he is. He's got that charm about him. That's the best thing. He just got the charm about him, and he puts people's lights out. And hopefully Teixeira will bounce back. I don't really know what's next for Derek. I mean, he said he would love to fight Tom Aspinall. So I mean, I don't know how many. Derek Lewis has literally fought the who's who, though, at heavyweight. I mean, if you really think about it, he's been around and he's fought them all. And win or lose, I guess you could say he's fought them all. But what a guy. Speaking of guys, Bobby, we're going to have to, we'll get back to, maybe we probably won't get back to the UFC Nashville, but I did enjoy the card as a whole. But speaking of a guy, it's been about a month or so time since we've had our great friend and a great guy. Welcome back to help us talk about his organization's big card this weekend, PFL Cape Girardeau, the president of PFL, Mr. Donn Davis.
Good to be back.
Donn, what's up, my man? How you been? And Donn, there's so many questions we got to start with before we even get into this weekend's card. It seems to be like there's a new /president kind of moving in, and the coach is going to be speaking for it, like kind of your guys' Dana White-esque.
Yes, Coach Man is taking over some of the forward-facing media roles, and we are excited to announce John Martin taking the place of Peter Murray, who now becomes the CEO of PFL International.
So now, what are you going to be doing during this time? You got Coach going to be the headline for you, and you got a new president. What's Double D going to be doing outside of maybe possibly hanging around with Russell Brand and stuff?
No. We've established that was a smear job done by some AI-related espionage agents. But no, I will be focusing on what I am good at, which is building the brand, litigating, okay, and building up the financial infrastructure of PFL. The kind of stuff that goes on LinkedIn. But yes. And I did maybe misspoke or spoke in a misleading way. John Martin will be taking the place of Peter Murray. Peter Murray is not leaving PFL. Peter Murray is the CEO of PFL International. John Martin is the CEO of PFL in total. And Murray will be reporting to John Martin. But yes, everyone always says 4 heads are better than 1.
Well, I don't know about anybody about that. I think sometimes too many people in the room can muck things up, Donn, but I like your outlook. Donn, I got to ask you too, you tweeted out this great card for the White House. Donn, why are we waiting for the White House? Why doesn't the PFL just put that best damn card on that they can have? Because that's what's best for business, baby.
Listen, I don't remember tweeting that. It comes to my attention after
Drunk
the fact.
4th of July, Donn. Too many.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey.
Yeah.
Celebrating America. There's nothing wrong with that.
America.
Yes. Too many vodka valors. That's what I drink. And yes, it's a tricky drink. So it'll get you, but it's a lot of fun. Just log off your Twitter beforehand.
So What did you? So I know you don't remember tweeting that card. What about that card? And can we get that? Kevin wants that card put on in Chicago.
Yes, if we put on one card a year, and it had the reach of a PFL White House, yeah, absolutely. But no, we got to spread out those amazing fights. It's also an ideal situation for everyone's fight camps, everyone's schedule, where they're at in their healing process, physical or emotional. Remember, Francis is still recovering from a tragedy, and yeah, there's a lot of moving plates. But listen, you want to talk about amazing cards? I'm ready to talk about PFL Cape Town.
Yeah, baby. That's why we brought you on here. Tell us a little bit about PFL Cape Town. What can we expect? Obviously, two of your biggest stars, Johnny Eblen, is on this card. Dakota, I'm not even going to figure out how to pronounce her last name, but we all know who I'm talking about. They're on this card. Tell us a little bit about. Yeah. Thanks, Bobby.
When Witt's here, I can say last names properly.
Thanks for that, Bobby. Yes, there are, I would say, a great number of stars on this card and potential future stars. Okay, I've been hearing the rumblings of, Dakota's fighting a Cam. Let's talk about Samiko Inaba, Lady Samurai. Okay,
Ooh.
She's 7-1 in Bellator. She's coming off a second round ground and pound finish of Mackenzie Stiller, who was an undefeated prospect at that point, and making her PFL debut. Well, let's not even get into the amazing merger that was PFL Tour, but stepping up to her, certainly the biggest test she has faced against Dakota. And it's going to be a great fight. She is definitely no pushover. And stylistically, it is going to be a lot of fun. Sure, there's a height difference. There's a leg reach advantage for Dacheva, which, the PFL is the only MMA organization that lists leg reach. But the arm reach, which is traditionally what we understand as reach, dead even. So that's going to be a great fight. We have the middleweight championship, Johnny Eblen versus Costello Van Steenis, another overlooked great fighter. Got a very high submission rate and coming off 2 back-to-back finishes, a Von Flue choke and a head kick, both in the first 2 rounds. And listen, this is what we do, right? We use established names. It's a lot easier with the great roster of fighters who have stayed on from Bellator. And that is the headline of the fighters we've gotten from Bellator, of the ones that are still here, like AJ McKee, okay? Fighting Ahmed Magomedov. You know what you're in for with someone whose name ends with Adolf. And
Adolf.
To that, yeah, I could have picked other letters, but you know what I'm saying.
No, I don't, Don. The only Adolf I know what he can do or what he's done.
Listen, we said no to Bryce Mitchell. That's all I'm going to say about that. He is a Russian fighter, and he's great. We have an amazing lightweight fight on the main card. Arthur Satnikov. I'm just laughing at how good it is.
It's all right, Don. It's all right. That's why you hired Coach. That's why you hired Coach to say all the names. We understand.
Coach Man is great on the mic, and that is how you actually correctly pronounce his name. Everyone's gotten it wrong. But we can't forget Dennis Goltsov versus Corey Overtime Anderson. I'm excited for that fight. I think that is being massively slept on. And Corey's looked great. It's, again, as far as putting on the super fight to end all super fights that I, blacked out and tweeted. This is what happens when the rubber hits the road. You get fighters in their prime, healthy, cut weight, ready to go. And we are making MMA's debut on the continent of Africa, before anybody else. 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday, July 19th. Don't miss it.
Don, I just got a couple of questions. One more question. I'm gonna let the boys ask any questions. You got the great card, Africa Cape this weekend. But my question is, are you the one kind of stirring the pot here between Turki Al-Sheikh and Ariel Helwani?
I wish I could take credit for that, and I appreciate you thinking that it would be me, but no. Turkey's doing his thing. I have nothing bad to say about him because I'm a family man and I value my life. But Ariel Helwani, that jabroni, I've said my piece on him.
That's true. I just thought maybe I knew you and Turkey were tied. I thought maybe you were kind of the one stirring the pot here.
Not publicly facing. Absolutely not. Yeah, Turkey and I are tight as you can be as two promoters. But he's in his boxing lane. I'm squarely in my MMA tournament lane, and I don't know what Ariel's doing, man. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. And Ariel's real buddied up with PFL brand ambassador Jake Paul, Mr. Paul as I call him. But I don't know what Ariel's doing. I'll say this, and I'm not trying to stir up, what, but you can mute somebody if you don't want to see them on your timeline. Okay, he knew that unfollow was gonna, get turned into a not racist caricature cartoon on it, and that's what happened.
Amen to that, Don. Turkey, Kevin here's a legend real quick. He's saying that Turkey hasn't picked up your phone calls in weeks.
Well, we text, so that would be why.
Yeah, different. The time zone thing. I get.
Yeah.
All right, Bob, you got any questions for the great Donn Davis?
Not so much more of a question as a comment, but I gotta say, Don, very well as far as building this card in Africa. Not only do you have the PFL Africa airing prior, kind of almost acting like a prelim, but I think it's a really perfect pairing when you're putting on a card of people that no one has ever heard of, and you're kind of using that as the prelims, and then the PFL Cape Town will kick off with the champion of champions. Respect to everyone on that card, but in my opinion, all the champions should wash the people they're fighting. However, I got to give you credit for getting them fights, because I know a lot of them were kind of in the weeds of waiting to get fights. So, we give credit around here when it's due. And I got to say, I think this event is perfect to line us up with a full all day of MMA. I think, PFL Africa starts at like 7 a.m. So I can't wait. And you're really nailing it this year. Much better, than last year when the tournament was confusing, even if there are like different leagues and stuff. This is the best way to get it to fans. Congratulations on getting the ESPN deal for PFL Cape Town. I know that was huge, so you don't have to direct everyone over to the app. But if I'm not mistaken, everyone can watch PFL Africa in the PFL app, which is a fantastic, amazing app, very compatible with any device you have. So, keep doing more stuff like this because we appreciate it.
Thank you, Bobby. I appreciate you, and I appreciate all of you. Whit, it's good to see you. And I do want to clarify, yes. So there are two cards on Saturday, and the first begins at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which critically, I wanted to point this out, is 4 p.m. in Cape Town. Okay, we're not making them fight in the middle of the night. And that is PFL Africa, yes. The PFL Champion Series card, which is what we've discussed primarily today, is beginning at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 8 p.m. in Cape Town, which again, perfectly normal, not strange time to fight. And we have made sure the locker rooms have been painted well in advance. No one is going to get fumigated. There's going to be nothing like that. And we are going to set the standard for MMA on the continent of Africa. and it's been great. This is the time to be here. It's winter down here, which means balmy 60-degree weather. I've been hanging out with Cameron Simon, talking business, and it's been a great time.
Whit, you got any questions for Mr. Donn Davis?
Yeah, man. First of all, Don, great to have you on the show. It's awesome to think that someone of your ilk makes time for the little guys. We're not that little. We're actually pretty big. Ass Botkins. Anyway, so the way it works is,
My
man,
wife thinks I'm pretty big. I don't know about compared to everybody.
yeah, right. Mine too. So as I delve into your background, being one of the founders of like AOL and studying like the algorithms that made AOL very, very popular in its earlier heyday. Now I see you're integrating technology into what will make PFL different from other promotions. You know what I mean? Where do you think this goes? You know what I'm saying? As Bobby mentioned earlier, the app is awesome. We can watch it anywhere, anytime. It's free to access. Like, where do we see this going? Are we going to have more interactive, cards? Are you going to like start, putting like comments on the screen? Like, where can you see this going as the world of entertainment kind of is already in the digital realm, but you can further it with the PFL brand and kind of put the stamp on it? Everybody's got to have something. PFL stamp could be in that world. So where do you see this going as we move forward?
I appreciate it. Yes. And it was great to be a part of AOL at the time that I was a part of it. Also, I got to shout them out. A great early part of my career was being the youngest at the time legal counsel for, the Chicago Cubs. So there's a lot that goes into becoming an entrepreneur. And I learned a lot in that part of my life. As far as the technology in the PFL, yes, we listen to the fans. Okay, you guys aren't amazed by the mile per hour of strikes being thrown. Fine, we'll take out the bad, we'll keep the good. You see the UFC ripping us off now with the ref cam. Great, keep learning from us. Maybe you'll get rid of the Apex. As far as the app, I appreciate the plugs. Tell a friend to tell their friend that PFL has an app. We are going to continue to build out the content library there. And something I'm working on personally is verdict scorecard integration. Kevin is correct. And verdict scorecard integration. And as you're talking about it, there's a lot of red tape to get this done. But something I bring up at every meeting, and I feel very strongly about, is having a fan interaction like the verdict scorecard, but PFL itself, giving the fans the ability to vote on MVPs per weight class in the year. So that is a type of accommodation, different maybe than the champions, and certainly the champion could win it, but a similar idea to the best of lists at the end of the year. But instead of leaving that to only the MMA media, giving fans a shot to show love to the fighters or performances that they enjoyed, and let the fighters know that. And I think that'd be pretty cool.
Hey, last question before we get you out of here, Don. How close are we getting to this Hughes Nurmagomedov rematch?
Pretty close. Coach Man is in Ireland right now, sitting down with the Hughes camp, and they're it's I said it, I think the first time you asked me about it, a good deal makes both sides uncomfortable, and we're going to get a good deal for all parties involved. And we've heard what the fans are saying. When is Dakota going to fight? When is the Champions Series going to return? Short of delivering that PFL White House card, and sure, it was a drunken mistake, but that's not saying it can't happen. We are doing our best to make these fights happen, and I think The Champion Series is a lot of fun. I think the real bread and butter of the PFL is the tournament. And for those who have been following the tournament this year, the tournaments, I should say, it is going to be a lot of fun. We're getting to the good part now, where this is how stars are made. And, my competitor likes to say the toughest tournament in sports is the Ultimate Fighter. Okay. I don't know if you saw it last week, but that's the toughest tournament in sports. Got a lot of problems. The toughest tournament in sports are the PFL global tournaments.
Hell yeah, Donn. Donn, we appreciate you joining us. I'm sorry, break the fourth wall. I texted Donn about like 2:00 this afternoon, said, if you got time, this in their busy schedule, can you join us this evening, talk about PFL Cape? And Donn replied, I'm in, very easily. So Donn, you're the man. Appreciate it, brother. And, we'll all be tuning into PFL Cape this weekend.
Appreciate it. Always good to be here.
Donn. You're the best. Give it up for PFL president, Mr. Donn Davis, everybody.
Yeah, no, Don's right. That fighting nerd that lost last night on Tough would not last a minute in the PFL tournament. So well said by Donn there.
The man.
I gotta catch up on my Tough episodes, man, because I was like,
you're not missing much, Whit. You're not missing much.
Except for yesterday. Yesterday's episode, and I do not mean this in hyperbole, was the best episode of Tough in the last 15 years. The most elite hate watch I could describe.
The two Brazilian guys fought?
Is a total fucking asshole. Like, not humble at all. Like, fuck this, fuck that. And then he just completely gets dominated. And then all of a sudden he's all, oh, you respected me, so I shook his hand. Like, let's be real. He'll probably get a contract because the camp he's in. But it was so amazing to watch him just get outclassed on every level.
Hey, listen, all I know is on the last episode, I really got a chance to watch. When we saw him talking to you-know-who, I was like, oh, he's going to start turning on that asshole. Man. Jesus, he's going to go ahead and flip that switch and be a dick the whole rest of the season until his fight happens. And you've already spilled the beans. And I guess he takes a loss, man. Brazil versus Brazil. They let the two guys fight.
I have a feeling that was one of the first fights that happened because, it's all taped at the same time.
Right.
And they were saving it because they knew he was going to get washed out early. And they kind of wanted to build that suspense. But, I promise you won't be disappointed watching it. Check it out.
Yeah, for sure. All right, boys, let's move right along here. We got Saturday is a full sit down of MMA, boxing,
cool.
all day, as we just learned talking with Mr. Donn Davis. It starts at like 8 a.m. I think Eastern time zone. So then you can sit down. So for Bobby, man, you're gonna have to wake up early, and sit on the couch and get everything ready because from 8 a.m. then we got boxing. We'll get into the boxing here in a little bit, but the evening nightcap is UFC 318, and it is the swan song of Dustin Poirier. It is the last dance for Dustin, but this card, let's be honest. If it wasn't Dustin's last dance, it probably is someplace else. But the prelims, I'm surprised Vettori Brandon Allen, 2 ranked middleweights, is on the prelims. They've been beefing for a while. Remember, they got into it speaking of the PFL event, they got into it at a PFL event. You got Jimmy Crute on this card, Ryan Spann again fighting on this card. So we're getting, for all the shit that people want to talk on heavyweights, we've been getting some heavyweight fights here lately. 3 last week, 1 this week, baby. Bobby, just searching on the prelims, you got a prelim that you're interested in, that you want to piques your interest.
I'm pretty interested in the Vettori Allen just for the backstory in that. But granted, I'm sick. There's a reason that's not on the main card. The UFC is concerned that it can just turn into a grappling match. The main card is pretty much built to eliminate that aspect of it. And I know a lot of people are praising it because of that. You know, I have no problem with exciting fights where you can turn your brain off and stuff.
Agreed.
Just when you look at it, it feels like it means very little for the future of the sport. But at the same time, you know, we do got some decent, you know, prelim fights that should also be entertaining. My only issue with it is, I mean, let's let the elephant out. Like, this was supposed to be a fight night. Like, the only reason it is a pay-per-view is because it is Dustin's last fight. And you're going to get no complaints with that with me, mainly for the fact that he does deserve it. I had a feeling when they announced it, it was going to kind of be lackluster, but matchmaking-wise, they at least did a decent job of making sure that the main card should be exciting, even though a lot of these fights mean nothing for the division. Apologies in advance. It's on me that the Costa fight got moved to here because I was the one, you know, gloating about it when they pushed it off. But, you know, hey, what up, Rob? How you doing?
What up, Rob?
But, yeah, you know, the prelims will kind of move by quick. But, you know, I'm probably got the Vettori Allen fight circled just because the bad blood there. I could easily see this kind of turning into a bad kickboxing match because of the hate between the two of them. I would like to see Allen, you know, use his striking a little bit more to set up the grappling because that's
home
when
state
he
kid too. Home state kid fighting in his home state. I guess he's from Louisiana.
Yeah, so like I get the argument of putting him on the main card, but at the same time, it's another way for them to sell pay-per-views, having it, you know, at the top for the prelims. So I'm not mad at it. I think the fight will deliver. It is just kind of ironic. The only ranked guy they did bump down, other than the main event, of course, but they did bump down to the prelims. But,
yeah.
You know, the card to me is just a product of the TKO model and stuff. And sometimes you're going to get stuff that isn't as stacked. And, you know, just got to go with it. What did Rob say there?
I just said he hasn't been on social media this month, enjoying getting his notes here. I appreciate it, Rob. Yeah, we missed you on social media. I mean, I'm sure you missed you know, don't get on Twitter and Google Conor McGregor the last few days, Rob. You'll be all right. You haven't missed much. What about you? Is there a fight on the prelims that you're circling? You're circling, my man.
Yeah, man. To be honest with you, of course, you know, first off, I'm glad to be back with the gang. Of course, I missed you guys. While I was doing a little bit of the research and I saw what was on the card, it's funny that we brought up Tough because one of the fan favorites from Tough is, of course, on the prelims. I'm talking about Robert Valentin going against Atiba Gutierrez. I know, guys. I know. He lost his last two fights. I know, but I said he's a fan favorite. Everybody was giving him a whole bunch of love for that Norse Viking,
yeah,
you know, the gods want blood type stuff. Like, well, I love that. If that's your character, if that's your guy, that's your thing. And from what I've seen, that's really him all the time. Like, that's cool. I'm interested in seeing him put on some type of performance because I mean, you know, I think this was happening while I was still here. Therese Finney lost that by split decision. Ryan Loder, who knew, lost by ground and pound. But the last one before that, where he beat Patty McCrory, Armbar, and Giannis Bakar, I watched that one personally. Knocked him out, you know, got him out of there in the first round. Somewhere we need to get that blood going. So if you want to, you know, sacrifice a chicken to the Norse gods this weekend for Robert Valentin, please feel free to. And then second, the next one that really stood out to me that I thought was you know, there's something to pique my interest. What's really going on with somebody I thought was really a high class guy, and that's Michael Johnson. Daniel Zuliber.
That's on the main card. We're going to talk about it.
Oh, right. My bad. Excuse me.
Yeah, good save. We can talk about it now. Go ahead.
My bad. Yeah, but in a long way, Michael, in a real way, Michael Johnson at one point in time was one of those guys you got to catch Yeah, you got to catch. And you know what I'm saying, for the division wise, he's been up, he's been down. I mean, it's kind of tough to say, you know, the competition in the lightweight division isn't like world class. He's won his last two. He's won 3 out of his last 5.
Three out of his last 5. Let me give you the breakdown here. That opens up the card with so good transition here. Michael Johnson versus Daniel Zellenberger. Johnson's actually a huge underdog at plus 425. Zellenberger, a huge favorite at minus 650. He is 15-2, but some of those is come here. Those 2 losses here come lately. His last time out, in fact, he has won 3 out of his last 4, but so has the veteran Michael Johnson, who is 24-19. He's won 3 out of his last 4. So, Whit, I mean, you started talking about the vet and Michael Johnson. How do you see this one shaking out?
Yeah, in real life, dog, I really see this as an opportunity for him to, you know, make it 3-0 in his last 3 fights. This is a really good one, but I've seen the Zulheimer highlights, man. His chin has been tested, man. He's actually a really tough guy to take down, but he is dangerous if he could get on the back. And I've seen Michael Johnson not do well in getting off of his back and being on the ground, being held down, getting someone out of dominant position. So, you know, definitely he's got the upper hand on the mat. Now, will Michael Johnson allow him to do that? I don't know. He may revert back to his old ways, put them hands on him and get him up out of there. But right now, like we normally do, you know me, I'm back when I get that mode, I got to look at the numbers. Right now, just like you said, big underdog on the card right now. And right now, it looks like Zellhuber's up on what is this? On Tapology. 88%. Zellhuber's going 88% right now, decision. The other 12 think that Johnson is going to win by KO. So it could go all the rounds, but you know, somehow, some way, if it happens in Johnson's favor, it looks like people think he's going to, you know, end it early.
Yeah, Bobby, we haven't seen Zellhuber since his almost fight of the year with Rybovic's back at the Sphere.
Yeah, to my knowledge, he was supposed to be on UFC Mexico, but I think he had to pull out with injury there. And this was actually the fight I was alluding to, like why it got the prelim bump off the prelims. And it's pretty clear. I mean, we know what we're getting here. We're going to get 2 guys more or less trading in the pocket, and it should be a striker's delight. So I could totally understand why they put it on the main card. Pretty much a good thing to kick it off. It is very interesting because, like, we have seen Michael Johnson put in these spots in the past where you think he's going to get lapped or something, and he, you know, shows that he's still sticking around at the top. I do kind of understand the line, though, probably mainly because of the age difference and stuff. But, you know, I really only see the fight ending one way style-wise. And, you know, very well could go to decision because Johnson is tough. I don't know. He might come into a scenario where he can get, like, some type of flash knockout there. But I do think that is going to be fairly difficult, too, because Zellenberg is very young. And, you know, that fight at the Sphere, it showed you right there that, you know, he has no problem standing in there and trading. And, you know, that might be Michael Johnson's best way to win, definitely, because, you know, the kid isn't afraid to get hit. So, you know, throw some gasoline on the fire and see what you can get. But, you know, I do think it is going to be a pretty tall order for Johnson because, you know, Zellenberger already had 1 camp going into this. He had to pull out being injured. But stylistically, I completely get why it's on the main card. I don't really think either of these guys are going to be like a future champion or anything. I'm not trying to, you know, sell.
Well, I think Johnson's best days are past behind him. You know what I mean? Or past him. Yeah.
Yeah, and just I don't know I almost kind of want to exclude this one when I talk about there really seems to be no future in like the matchmaking of the main card and stuff like that because after this it kind of gets real rough, but this should be an entertaining 15 minutes, and I think we're just gonna see someone bleed, so give it to me.
Who you guys got? Wait, did you make a pick? Go first, Wait. You're muted.
Sorry, got to get back into practice. For this one, man, I definitely want to go with Johnson, man. It's one of those occasions where I gotta think that he can revert back to his old self. Of course, it looks as though the skill set wise is in the favor of Zellhuber, man, but I somehow, some way, man, he could pull this one out and set himself back up to start heading towards the top of the division again, just like he has for the it seems like once a year. You know what I'm saying? Once a year we get to say, hey, look at Johnson, he's looking pretty good right now, and then like technically we're getting ready to start the second quarter of the year, which means if he has a good fight now, December, November, third, fourth quarter, we could be looking at him on the main card of a good pay-per-view. So if he takes this one out, 3 in a row, let's see what happens. I'm going with Johnson on this one for sure.
Bobby?
Yeah, I got a lot of love for Johnson as well, but just with the age and stuff and the speed, I'm gonna have to go with Mexican Zoolander here. I definitely think he has enough tools to get the victory and stuff. And I figured I'd botch his name if I actually said it. Zellerberg or
whatever. Zellhuber.
Yeah. But yeah, no, he showed in that last performance at the Sphere is he's hungry. He'll put it all out there. Granted, that could be his demise in this fight, but I think he'll end up being able to get the job done.
Yeah, I think if he tries to stand and bang with the veteran Michael Johnson, like he could definitely get his lights taken out. We've seen Johnson do it time and time again, but there's one thing that is undefeated, and that's Father Time. And I think, as I said earlier, I think Michael's his best days are behind him. So Crosshair is saying Zellhuberman. Well, fuck it. His name's Daniel to me, so give me Daniel, baby. Give me Daniel.
Thank you, Rosetta Stone.
Yeah. Let's get into the next one. It is none other than a featherweight matchup. It is none other than Dan 50K Ige taking on Patricio Pitbull. Ige here's the favorite at minus 220. Pitbull is the dog at plus 180. Pitbull coming off the loss just a couple months ago to Yair when he made his UFC debut. And Ige has he's lost 3 out of his last 5, but did win that close one against my guy Sean Woodson. Bobby, I'll start with you. How do you see this battle? As again, Pitbull making his second fight here in the UFC.
Yeah, definitely another tough matchup for Pitbull.
If he loses, Rob, it is the end of the Pitbull experiment, I think, in the UFC.
Yeah, and you kind of go off that, wondering what he has left to prove, if he is really getting up for this one, because damn well Dan Ige is going to be starting from the start of the bell there. You can't really start slow with him. Yair fought a lot more on the outside and was a lot more plotted and just pieced him up. Ige is going to bring that fight to you, and he'll make it ugly. And I think Ige is just as, thirsty to get back into the win column there. So I'm probably going to have to roll with Ige off this. I don't mean to completely jump off the Pitbull hype train. I don't know if the UFC jitters even exist, but he looked slow and old in his last fight against Yair. And I just, don't know if you can really correct that when it really just comes to the timing and stuff. And I got a hell of a lot more faith in Ige's coach than I do Pitbull's team with, the coach Eric and stuff. So I'm necessarily like not rooting against Pitbull by any means, but I'm probably going to have to go 50K here with this one.
Wait, what about you, my man?
Yeah, bro. It's crazy, man. As I come back and I look at things, I look at the landscape. Bobby hit the nail on the head, bro. I was not impressed this last.
Nobody was.
Right.
Nobody
I was not impressed by Pitbull showing, all of this bravado that he's come with from other, promotions. I was looking for that fire. I felt that he laid it down in that ring. And it was unfortunate that we got a chance to see what would look like a past his prime moment for Pitbull in the octagon. That a past his prime on his debut. That is horrible. For me, man, Dan Ige is dangerous on multiple levels, on the feet and on the ground. And this is where I think the competition level may really startle somebody like Pitbull, unless he has a random Pitbull moment where, you know what I'm saying, he catches Ige off guard, which it does not happen very often, unless you're like Lerone Murphy, who might have just won on accident a year ago. It's really looking real Dan Ige-ish for me right now. But I want to see this go the distance. Let's put it like that. I don't want it to end early. Just like Bobby said, I think somehow, some way, if it doesn't pan out well, even in a loss, like even if he loses and let's say it's a split decision, or as long as he doesn't get knocked out or submitted, let's put it like that. I think this might be the end of the Pitbull train as far as it being top tier competition.
Well, I mean, they're giving him Ige. I have to pull up the rankings real quick, but like Ige is not ranked like super high at featherweight. I mean, he started off fighting the number 3 guy. Ige's at 11. And I'm kind of with Rob here. It's 5 years too late. 5 years too late for both Pitbull bros. I'm in agreement here with Rob. I think it's too late, and I think it's going to be one-sided traffic. Ige, again, just like Michael Johnson, Father Time waits for no man. It's undefeated, and I think it's caught up to Pitbull, and it would be nice to have like a nice Pitbull moment, at least get one of those in the UFC. But I don't think that happens against Dan 50K Ige. We're all on 50K Ige then, right?
Seems as though.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I will say, Pitbull's best avenue to win is to wrestle. So if he is having success, that building is going to start booing him like the fucking plague. So, but yeah, I mean, I just believe in Ige's wrestling defense and ability to get back up. So, yeah, I'm with 50K.
Yeah, let's get to the third fight, a fight that was actually supposed to happen, 2 years ago now, I believe, 2 years ago, I think, and that is none other than Kevin Holland making like his 5th appearance of the year. I mean, the most active, if they said he'll be the most active UFC fighter from like 2018 or something like that, since his debut to now. So yeah, this is Holland's 4th appearance, and he's 2-2 this year. Or he is 2-1 this year. His only losses to RDR at middleweight. 2-0 though at welterweight, and obviously this one is at welterweight, and he's taking on Mr. D-Rod, who just fought not too long ago, coming off a nice win over Ponzinibbio back in May. So these guys are supposed to fight back, 2 years ago. And remember, that's when the Hamzat Nate Diaz stuff happened, and D-Rod fought the Leech, and Kevin Holland took the payday for Hamzat and lost. So, but here we are with two of the most active, Kevin Holland, the most active fighter, and D-Rod's usually pretty active as well. And they're running back after the fight that was supposed to happen 2 years ago.
Yeah, man, I'm all in on this one. This is where I think the action will turn up on the card a little bit more. Of course, we've seen our guy Daniel Rodriguez, aka D-Rod, come out here and literally, kind of put it all out there kind of early. I like the idea that in the past maybe 2 or 3 Kevin Holland fights, I've seen a lot more of the thing that we thought he was going to be doing, where he's gotten a little bit more diverse in his bag. He's not just trying to stand up the entire time. With the Vincent Luque win, with that choke, I thought to myself, this is what we wanted to see 2.5 years ago.
When he's dialed in at welterweight, I think he's really good. I don't know if he's like title run good, but I think he's one of the best welterweights in the world good when he's dialed in as well. So
yeah, I mean, and you're exactly right, bro. When he's got the the eye of the tiger on, you know what I'm saying? He's extremely dangerous. But when he's got his eye on the candy and not the match, it's bad. I think this is one more where he will be ready to come and play for keeps. D-Rod is not to be underestimated in any way, shape, or form. I think this will be a big test for what he has been practicing on his jiu-jitsu, on his wrestling, on his grappling. And D-Rod could very, very easily catch you in the wrong position and take advantage of it. We've seen it before, and somehow, some way, this is where I think Kevin Holland gets a little bit of love, and probably he might even wrap it up till the very end of the year. I mean, like you said, 4 performances already. We are in month 7. That's ridiculous. Yeah. That is, in my mind, that is freaking ridiculous when you normally see guys twice, maybe maximum 3 times a year. So if he wins and we see Kevin Holland in September, hey man, we gotta put him at co-main event or something. But maybe if not necessarily a pay-per-view, maybe co-main on a fight night. And
I think he could head, if like he's been calling out Colby Covington. If he gets that fight, him and Colby could headline a fight night someplace.
Hey, look, man, Colby, just like we talked about earlier, Colby was on that tough in the fight camp. Who knows what type of shape Colby's in? He always seems to be ready to go. So if Kevin Holland wins this one, calls out Colby Covington, we could be looking at one more fight. I think that would probably be the most in a year for any fighter.
It'd be 5 fights.
5 fights in a year.
He did that in 2020. He did that in COVID in the COVID year in 2020.
Yeah, in the COVID. He was the star of the COVID year. But yeah, definitely. If he can repeat that, I'm definitely looking forward to him. So yeah, Kevin, come on. Let's shut up. Let's really put it all out there. And let's show the people what you're working with. I'm going with Kevin Holland on this one for sure.
Bobby, Kevin Holland, huge favorite here at -550. D-Rod at +375.
Damn. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you look at the activity with Holland, and I think it really benefits him. He's not like dealing with the stress of having long, drawn-out camps. He's, fighting very quick, so he's staying in shape and stuff. I definitely liked what I saw from D-Rod in his last fight. I mean, I kind of wrote him off a little bit, and he came in looking a lot leaner and, got the victory pretty convincingly there. So, maybe he's getting the second wind. This is at 170, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, that right there, I do think kind of favors Holland a little bit, just kind of the comfortability. He's not moving up and down in weight, so he's staying on the same weight. And he's going to be comfortable wherever the fight goes. I mean, most likely it will be a standing affair for the most part. But, if he rocks him early, it would not shock me at all if, he would go to some type of submission to get a nice little sub bonus there. But, he's been doing it Rob nailed it. He'll probably be one of the most financially successful fighters that never fights for a title. Easily.
Yeah, I think. I think that's right on. We already know he got the bag right when he fought Hamzat. Like they paid him well, and I really actually think that did him a disservice because I felt like they paid him and he just didn't take shit serious. And now I think he's like, I don't know the guy's financials, right? This is me speculating, but I think he took it took like 2 years here to where he just wasn't. I felt like he wasn't taking shit serious. And I felt like it's because he got the money from the Hamzat fight. And then maybe I think there was like a time where somebody sat him down, or maybe he just matured and was like, I got to take this shit serious. And now he's staying at 170. And I think he's got a future here. And I really think, I'm not saying he's going to ever fight for the title. I just think he can be one of those top 10, top 5 guys. I really do at 170 because he's well all around. And he's tall and lanky for this weight class. He always picks up the phone and says yes, and he's always going to be in a good fight. I'm with you guys too. Give me Big Mouth. Call Big Mouth, baby. Give me Big Mouth.
And another thing about that is, like, other than the RDR fight, he's almost always on the pay-per-view, and he's always on the main card. So I mean, they definitely reward him for stepping up and the booking, and he's got a pretty fan-friendly style, so he's very popular as well. And I mean, that is one that should be interesting. What's Cross saying?
He's saying Kevin could beat JDM in a rematch. I forgot they fought in a very close fight. That fight was close. I would probably favor JDM right now because I think he's improved.
I'm in the class of where this is us probably getting some of the best Kevin Holland we've seen. Far.
Agreed. I'm right there with you.
When, just like you said, when he's dialed in, we got, what I'm saying? Like, to me, in comparison wise, like Kevin Holland's like your granddad's car. It's sitting there, it's not moving, but when it's moving and that air conditioning is blowing, it's one of the best rides you have. So Kevin Holland is exactly like your granddad's Chrysler. It's dusty, it's old. It's not even that old. It's pretty clean on the inside. And you got to cut it on. The AC blows. You need a good tape to listen to, maybe. And it's a great car. Kevin Holland is to me a Chrysler, a 2000 custom.
I think it's, to me, Holland reminds me of the kid that's like, you play sports and you're just like, man, that kid's so athletic. If he ever just took it serious, he could go someplace. We've all been on some sort of team where you're just like, man, this kid's super talented. He just don't take it seriously, and then it's just like, he doesn't work, like kind of put the work in. I'm not saying Kevin Holland doesn't work hard, but I'm just saying, like, he's got all the tools. He just got to take it serious. And then if he ever just clicks for him and he takes it serious and stops being class clown, this kid's going to be really good. That's Kevin Holland to me.
Like the kid that's like 6'6" going down the hall. You're like, what grade are you in?
Yeah.
Why don't you play basketball?
He just dominates the whole basketball team, just doesn't want to go on the team.
Right.
Let's get into the
one last thing on that. The wildest part about that is I think that's a huge part of his success too.
Yeah.
Because he's always just laid back. He's never overthinking it in the cage and
Agreed.
Stuff. Yeah, he may straight up like lose a fight or something, but he seems always kind of happy with the work that he put in and the performance that he put in, and I think it's a big part of his success, and definitely entertaining when he starts talking too. So definitely be some words in the cage.
Yeah, there'll probably be more words than takedowns, I think. Let's get into. Bobby's been waiting for this fight for almost 2 months. It's his favorite fight on the card. I know.
Off with that.
I know he has had this fight circled. It is none other than Paulo Costa versus Roman Kopylov. Pablo is a dog here at plus 200. It's been a while since we've seen Pablo Costa. In fact, June 1st of last year, he's lost 4 out of his last 5. His lone win is against Luke Rockhold, who we just found out is going to be fighting in a Misfits card. And he's taking on Roman Kopylov, who has won 4 out of his last 5. So, Bobby, I'll start with you. I know you're super excited about this fight. So, tell us what you like.
I have never heard a more inaccurate description of how I feel on this podcast in my life. This is the worst co-main event I can think of on a fucking Apex, on a fight night. Just dog water. Like, fuck this. But realistically, Kopylov is not going to let Paulo do his kind of Paulo things. Like, he's going to bring the fight to him. So stylistically, hopefully it will be a little bit more entertaining. But Paulo always seems to have that issue of either taking the first round off or doing too much in the first round and just being worthless in the second and third round. Granted, he doesn't have to go 5 rounds. I mean, that was his last fight with Strickland. And, hopefully that did leave a bad taste in his mouth. And, it motivates him to put more effort. But you and I know all too well that he's been talking about wanting, to get back to that aggressive style since pre-pandemic. And I do think Izzy broke him in that sense. And he's always going to be plotting a little and not wanting to be on that meme. So is Kopylov the guy to get him his confidence back? I don't really see it. I think that line is a dramatic misprice. I'd be smashing Kopylov. It wouldn't shock me at all if Paulo could win it by winning 2 of the 3 rounds. But this is just the most uninspiring main event that I've seen on a numbered pay-per-view card that I can remember in recent memory. And we've watched a lot of garbage where we're grabbing our head, but I think this one is what really set me off of, is this card actually fucking serious? And I get the aspect of, hey, there's not going to be any grappling in it. It should be entertaining that way. I don't know. Maybe that's his best, Kopylov's best thing, is to kind of mix up some wrestling there. But what's Cross got to say about this?
He said he thinks Roman's the right opponent to bring back the old Pablo.
I will give you that, Cross. I'll concede to that he probably does have the right style to take it to him and bring the old Paulo out. And I would love to see that. But I don't know. Ever since he's got that big contract, I just don't see the fire in him anymore.
Yeah, Rob, I think he already has an OnlyFans announcement, by the way. I think he already has an OnlyFans. I'm pretty sure he does. I thought Pablo, he's ranked number 13. This is 13 versus 14 at middleweight.
Yeah,
so
and I'm sorry to cut you off, but he should not be fucking ranked.
And Brandon Allen and Marvin Vettori are 11 and 10. So make that make sense. One's the co-main and one's on the prelims.
It's solely because of the grappling. But
go ahead, Whit.
Yeah. So I was sitting back here and I was like, dang, in real life, Paulo Costa has been to the top and bottom to the middle, but I think this is another reflection of the card. We've got guys on the card who have not reached their full potential. You know what I'm saying? We talked about Michael Johnson. He's on the card. He's on the main card. We talked about who else? Kevin Holland. He's on the main card. Further down, we got Marvin Vettori, Robert Valentin, people that have been really, really good names for cards in the past, but haven't got up there. And look at this. We got the young man, Roman Kopylov, looking like a complete axe murderer, coming in here to tomorrow. I am excited to see what's going to happen with this one. To me, it's a complete toss-up. I don't care what anybody says, but somehow, some way, the young Kopylov, I think, takes advantage of Paulo Costa, and that's just in my mind. I think this is a decision fight where it goes all of the rounds. It's not going to. I don't think it really ends early, but we're going to see Paulo Costa try to outmatch a younger, smoother, slicker fighter. Costa would not. Yeah, Costa would not. Yeah, shouldn't be ranked completely. I agree. He should not be ranked. But since he is, this is one of those moments where he's going to have to prove his ranking because Kopylov don't play, and I believe if Kopylov was like somehow on 23andMe and we put a line to Sean O'Malley, they're somehow related in the way that they go about fighting. You know what I'm saying? But at this moment, what's going to happen?
It looks like not Sean O'Malley, but what's the lightweight kid? Hooper.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Somebody's Russian father is just moving around.
The middleweight Hooper. Yeah.
Right.
They just look like,
But in real life, man, I want to see Paulo Costa, just like I want to see the other guys on this card that I named who have not reached their full potential. I want them to pull off an upset. But I don't think it's going to happen. This is really steep competition, and Kopylov has been putting guys in really tough positions. Chris Curtis with the head kick. I watched that one. It was dangerous. It got a fight of the night bonus, definitely. Cesar Almeida, I don't think I watched that one. I know at one point in time we might have been discussing it, but look at that split decision. Somewhere in there, I think he is way more dangerous than people give him credit for. So Paulo Costa better watch out.
Yeah, so you guys all like Kopylov. I'm right there with you. The only thing I like about Pablo anymore is his social media game. And what Rob was saying, it's probably why people like me are probably the reason he's on the co-main, because he's got a good social media following. Give me Kopylov too. I've been hearing this. I'm going to go back to my old ways since the Izzy fight. I think Bob, you made a good point in that Izzy broke him. So let's get to the main event. Throw out the BMF belt. I think we're on agreement. It doesn't really matter. We're getting two of the best fighters in the world. To throw down on Saturday night. It is Max Blessed Holloway for the third time. He's gonna be taking on Dustin Poirier. 0-2, once fight at featherweight. The second one was kind of a short notice type fight. Didn't put on the proper weight, but now he looks like a solid lightweight. As we know, the last time we saw Max, so he got KO'd at featherweight, but the time before that, when he fought at 155, he was KO'ing Justin Gaethje. The last time we saw Dustin Poirier lost the title fight, he has said this is uno más, and they have built this card for him in his home state in New Orleans. Lil Wayne's going to be walking him out. They don't do this for everybody, but they're doing it for the diamond here. Two true legends on Saturday night going to go at it. One last and final time for the diamond. Bobby, I'll start with you. Your thoughts on this fight?
I'll add to that. They don't do this for anybody. I mean, everything worked out for Nate Diaz.
Everybody will be Bill Goldberg after this because they did not get the Dustin Poirier treatment when they retired. Type shit.
Their plan was to send Nate Diaz out in a body bag with Chimaev, and it worked out to where he was able to fight Ferguson. He went out on the win, and the UFC, or specifically Dana, went back in the locker room, told him, this is your home, kid. Whenever you want to come back, you could do it. Didn't believe a fucking word of it. I do believe it for Dustin Poirier, because you have to really get to that point where you can almost do no wrong. And he's fought everyone that they've asked for. His resume alone is just insane when you compare it
both
to
of their resumes. I'm gonna pause real quick right there, Bobby. I'm gonna pull up both of their resumes. Listen, here's Poirier's resume. Just in his last few fights: Islam, Benoit Saint Denis, Justin Gaethje, Michael Chandler, Charles Oliveira, Connor, Dan Hooker, Khabib, Max Holloway, Eddie Alvarez, Justin Gaethje, Anthony Pettis, Eddie Alvarez, Jim Millard, Michael Johnson, King Green. Like, that alone is insane. And then you get to Max Holloway, his resume is just as good. Ilya, Justin Gaethje, Korean Zombie, Arnold Allen, Volk, Yair, Calvin Kattar, Volk, Frankie Edgar, Dustin Poirier, Brian Ortega, Jose Aldo, Anthony Pettis. Like, Charles Oliveira, Cub Swanson, like Conor McGregor, you know what I mean? Like his resume is just like, these are two of the best resumes in the history of the game.
Yeah, I mean, Max made his debut against Dustin. And I mean, you see the tail of the tape. They literally look like two different human beings almost. And yeah, you know, the second fight with Max, you know, I was already full aware of who Dustin was and stuff, but that is like one of those performances that really cemented, yeah, he is that guy. And now it's even more enticing because you have all these years later, you're getting the trilogy. Max isn't going to want to go out 0-2. There's no way that Dustin's going to want to go out on a loss. So you've really set yourself up for a perfect fight where neither guy is going to want to give an inch. And, you know, this is just going to be a straight up 5-round war. I mean, they can point at the ground all they want. It's probably just going to keep going here. And, you know, the hesitation for me would probably be the elephant in the room is we've never seen Max get KO'd before. So how will he rebound from that? I'm sorry if that was at 55, the same thing would have happened. Save the, he's 145. He's sucked in. You know, Ilias Power would have put him down either way. He knocked him out.
We just saw it last month.
he knocked him out with the gold gloves, the gloves they removed because they were having issues with knockouts. But, you know, credit to Max. He was doing very well in that fight until he wasn't. So, it's just one of those fights, like, especially in a scenario like this, I absolutely despise that I have to pick one athlete over the other. Because I'm sure if we could all have it one way, we prefer neither guy to lose. But, you know, unfortunately, that's really not how the game works.
I think Michael's got all our sentiments. I'll be happy and sad with any result this weekend in the main event. Agreed, Mike.
Yeah. I mean, I'd even be happy with a draw.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you'd be getting an amazing fight going back and forth. And I would not want to be a judge on that main event. That would be pretty rough. And, you know, I do think Dustin has to kind of look at the things that Max is going to make adjustments for. Because, I mean, just if you go back to when he fought Gaethje, I mean, he looked so much better. And really, Gaethje had nothing for him the entire fight. I mean, he was up 5 rounds to nothing before he, you know, gave him the chance. I'd be pretty surprised if the scenario is reversed in this fight. I don't see Max doing that. I think he will, you know, easily take the W to get his hand raised. But Max said himself, like, you know, he wants to, you know, play spoiler and be the villain, which it, kind of a weird spot. I mean, I don't think there's anything Max Holloway can do that would make me hate him. You know,
right. Like that's like the worst. They got literally the nicest person, one of the best people to try to play the villain. You know, like he'll oblige to a great fight, but like, it's not like you're walking away like when it like 5 years from now, it's like, oh man, I hate that guy. He retired Dustin Poirier. Like, you can't hate on.
Like, I was down on the rematch for like half a second, just because it's like, oh, you could see so many different matchups, but at the same time, with the style of fight that Dustin is going to want, I can't think of a better, you know, dance partner for literally a swan song that the UFC is built around him. And, you know, you kind of led with it. They don't do this for anyone. They try to maximize your star power and have you get defeated by a young and up and comer. But, you know, credit to the matchmaking for giving him the respect he deserves and kind of letting him go out on his terms. And I'm really loving the fact that Dustin is going out on his terms. You know, there are too many fighters that we see that we watch with our hands over our eyes. You know, we'll support them till the end, but we kind of wish that they got out ahead of time. And you saw that last performance Dustin, had against Islam. That would have been a more than justifiable last performance for him to just call it. But, we're a full year later, and the fact that it's in his hometown, I really hope Lil Wayne puts the respect in walking him out, and it isn't a WrestleMania performance. I mean, most likely he'll just be lip syncing, but like even that small detail of the UFC letting him come out with it, they'd normally be sticklers for that type of shit. Yeah. But they're saying, nah, it's all the El Diamante way. And so I'm very happy to see that, the build for it. Like, do not put the press conference should just be the two of them, in my opinion. We don't need the generic, worthless MMA media questions asking, unranked motherfucker A what he's going to do. Like, I do not care about any of that. Like, let's focus on the two. Like, as John Anik says, the two men that this fight card was built. Like, that's all that this press conference should be. Like, do it justice. Just, right off into the sunset. And, if I could change anything, I'd say let him walk out second. But I'm pretty sure with how it's being built, Dustin's going to be walking out first. But I can't wait to see how electric that arena gets when he does walk out.
Who you picking?
I mean, I don't want to pick, but if I have to, there's only one way I'm going. I do think this is going to be the toughest fight of the trilogy. And Max, Dustin's a slight underdog on this, right?
Yeah, slight dog, plus 110.
Yeah, and I can kind of see it with how Max has looked. They expect him to be making those adjustments, but there's no way in hell I'm not picking Poirier for his last fight. I could give a shit if I'm wrong about that. So give me El Diamante all day.
Wait, what about you, my man?
All right, so first we definitely got to put some respect on this fight, man. Big shouts out to everybody in the comment section. You said it earlier, bro. If we look at the resume, the body of work between these two fighters, this is what gets myself, you, Bodkins, Bobby, Rob, everybody into the sport of MMA. If I had the money to buy ESPN Plus just so I could have access to the plethora of fights that come with it to watch UFC, I could run through the UFC's volumes of Dustin Poirier, and somehow Max Holloway is tied into that, and just go, man, I'm just going to watch these, and that's it. Just going to watch these fights, these two fighters specifically, and I'm going to have a good freaking time at just watching old stuff. You know what I mean? When it comes to Dustin Poirier retiring, 2 decades, count them 2 decades. I heard some old fighters. I heard Cub Swanson in there, bro. The last time you heard Cub Swanson, besides, I think maybe earlier this year, this is one of those times where you really got to shut everything off and focus, because we don't know what we're going to get, and especially with a flash in the pan, when you go to one of those hibachi restaurants, although you're going to get rice and steak and shrimp, that's what you're going to get all day long. You're waiting for the cook to set the shit on fire. We're waiting for them to find a way to set it on fire. I'm waiting for Dustin Poirier and Max Holloway to set up the onion tower, put the oil in it, and set it on fire. And just so I can go, ooh, I don't know when it's going to happen. 2nd round, 3rd round, 4th round. And this is exactly, and it's like my last time going to Benihana. I'm never going to Benihana again. I could go to all the buffets I want to, but it's never the same after that last time. And I'm excited to see it. They give it, like you guys said already, the proper respect. They got Lil Wayne involved. First of all, Weezy F baby, and please say the baby. Somehow, some way, if you're gonna come, I want to know which song is gonna come out to. Are we going to get Carter 5 Can we
No,
get the Carter 2?
no, so it's supposed to be drop the. So he wants drop. So
Pick the World Up?
interview said he wants drop the world because that's the first song he ever came out to.
Right.
In the UFC, so he's trying to go. I think they're going to do that.
Maybe the Hot Boys will be there. BG. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Turk. Who knows? Baby may be out there. I have no idea. But for it to be New Orleans, from the go out of style, and of course Daniel Cormier is from New Orleans too. Daniel Cormier said it a million times. Dustin Poirier was never no punk. He went to the other side of the track school. So I'm excited to see this one. But on the other side of the ring is Max Holloway at a weight class, I think, where he's way more superior, than where he normally fights at. Somehow, what's going to happen to me in my mind, I would love to see this draw happen. For this to draw. You know what I'm saying? The judges are so flabbergasted. They're so excited. They're jumping and screaming.
What if it's like Rocky, right? In the first Rocky, where they just knock each other down.
Yeah, right. And everybody falls down and
double knockout.
and somehow, some way, we get the ending we want. Because I think we all said it. Like we've said it a bunch of times on this show. Robbie Lawler was extremely lucky to get to go out on a pay-per-view card and win convincingly. That was kind of like the last time we saw that. So I want to see a draw. Will we see a draw? Probably not. But if I'm expecting points and not necessarily a knockout, talking about a decision, I'm going to go with Dustin on this one because if it gets dicey in there, Dustin has a ground game that we've seen multiple times. We've seen Dustin.
There's not going to be a takedown. There's never been a takedown in a BMF fight. There ain't going to be one.
And remember, y'all used to talk trash about me wanting to see BMF belt fights. This is finally. I came back just to tell y'all that I didn't forget how we used to talk so bad about the BMF belt. This is it right here. I am excited about this one. One of the last meaningful BMF fights we got. But they ain't take. If they do get a takedown, somebody's going to say, "All right, get up." The other person's going to say, "Get up. Let's try this again." You know what I'm saying? But for real, man, I want DP going out on the shield. I want him to go out on top on this one. No disrespect to Max. Max can get the belt back after. It's going to be the title will be vacated. We'll have a Max Holloway, Justin Gaethje or something like that. Somebody's got to do something. You know what I mean? And
we can retire the belt when DP wins.
We can't retire the belt. We got BMFs come. We got young BMFs coming up now. But yeah, Dustin Poirier is my pick for this one. And once again, man, it's the proper send off at home. Lil Wayne fighting again and not fighting against some bum neither. You know what I'm saying? When you want, I guess. As someone who has competed at the highest level, you want somebody that's going to test you one last time. And I think that this is exactly, the right way to do it. So big shouts out to both guys. I love Max Holloway. Don't get it twisted. But this time, let Dustin get out of there, the right way. And if Max, taps that chin, knocks him out, I think that's still a respectful way to do it. You know what I mean? Like you can only respect a veteran like that one or two ways. He either beats the crap out of you or you beat the crap out of him and he says, you know what, you deserve that.
So in this lineage, I guess you could say, of the BMF belt, every BMF that the lineal champion, the champion is never won. So there's that.
So yeah, there's that. Yeah, for sure.
So the person's always, and there's always been I guess like Nate Diaz wasn't knocked out, but they always been the person who's been the champ's gotten knocked out. Yeah. So I mean, you guys said it, man. I mean, this is it. This is the two of the GOATs, two of the best to ever put on the gloves, step in the octagon. But one last time, baby, one last time, give me the happy ending. And he's my dog, baby. We are going out as the BMF champion. Peter Costa be the boss. Give me Dustin El Diamante Poirier, baby. Yeah.
I paused that before they claimed the stream.
Yeah, definitely. And when you look back at that resume, somebody who really paid the cost definitely does support Poirier. Definitely, straight up.
We got to get into just a little bit of the boxing. It's like a couple cards here, Whit, but I think to me, the most important one is happening in London. It is the return of Usyk versus, is it Dubois? Is that
Usyk and Dubois. You know, he's got that French background. So yeah, we're just gonna gloss over him. So it's so many fights this weekend. It's kind of ridiculous. I can't even lie to you. When we were talking last week, I was like, dang, like Berlanga's happening. Shakur Stevenson happens. Berlanga gets knocked out. Shakur Stevenson does good. So now this week right here, we got Usyk and Barrios. You got to remember, this has already happened, people. Somehow, some way, the controversy was marred by a low blow, supposedly, where Dubois, pretty much took out Usyk's kids. You know what I'm saying? And now we get the repeat where Dubois has pretty much taken out everybody else, including, some really, really big names. And of course, we've seen Usyk beat the Gypsy King twice.
We've seen Usyk beat everybody.
Yeah, we've seen Usyk beat everybody, but we've seen him beat the Gypsy King twice, which at that time was unheard of. So there's nowhere else to go. There's nowhere else to run. These two are on a collision course, and I am pretty much excited to say that, Usyk enters the rematch with the WBA, WBC, and WBO heavyweight belt. Like, the idea is Dubois, after the loss with Usyk, right, he went on to beat Anthony Joshua, Gavorchik, and for it to have had been at Wembley Stadium, this is a big deal right here. Now, on the other side of boxing, we can't sleep on this. I just want to throw this out there. Pacquiao returns. Mario Barrios. Who in the hell knew that Pacquiao had time to run a country and box at the same time?
I don't need to see that. I don't need to see the carcass that is Manny Pacquiao.
But this is what I want to throw out there. The point is, on the card is this. Two things I want y'all to know. Sebastian Fundora and Tim Tszyu for the WBC welterweight. That is important. That is what is more important, kind of sort of, than seeing Manny Pacquiao go at Mario Barrios. Isaac Cruz and Angel Ferrero, super lightweight belt. That is more important than Manny Pacquiao and Mario Barrios. So they built up the card so that if nothing is exciting happening in that Manny Pacquiao, Sebastian Fundora and Tim Tszyu, scary. Tim Tszyu, extra scary. Isaac Cruz, Angel Ferrero, scary, extra scary. So let's just take a minute, let's take a minute and watch maybe one or two of these fights. There's going to be so much going on. You're going to have to get your laptop. You're going to have to get your desktop. You're going to have your TV on. You're going to have to pirate stream everything. Put your VPN on and watch.
If you wake up early, you can catch PFL in the morning. Then you can get the Usyk fight. And then you can that'll lead into somewhere. I think the Pacquiao fights is after the should be on after UFC. So
where is the Pacquiao fight?
Where is the Pacquiao fight? That is a good question. Where the freak is the Pacquiao?
I think it's in Vegas, is it not?
Where is the Pacquiao fight? Where's the Pacquiao?
Manny Pacquiao.
Shame on you, Vegas. I do agree with you with there are other fights Vegas on that thing that matter. But, Yeah,
last time a weekend was stacked like this, though, it sucked. You're right, Cross. You're correct. It did. And it didn't live up to the billing because I think one of them was one of those Riyadh season cards where
what I think was that the same weekend as the Times Square bullshit. That was
the Times Square that was one. It was one of those fight cards in Riyadh, and then they had a really bad, not a bad UFC. I think it was what was it? I think one of the UFCs that was. I think the one in the Sphere was that same weekend. It was whatever was going on in Riyadh, one of those first Riyadh season cards where they had too much shit going on and concerts, and it wasn't enough boxing, but it was on all day. Then all of a sudden, I think
Agreed,
the
Rob.
UFC happened.
Agreed. So, yeah, I mean, a lot to get into in the MMA world. It'll be a packed weekend. Before we get out of here, real quick, I mean, who do you like? We all like Usyk to win. I like Usyk to win.
I like Usyk to win, but I would not be surprised if somehow, some way, if Dubois wins, it's by knockout. Let's put it like that. If any round knockout is something to play for Usyk, I would play it. But for the money, yeah, Usyk, the Usyk money is probably not worth it. But if there's a Dubois any round knockout, I would take that for sure.
Bobby?
What, in the Usyk fight? Or?
Yeah, Usyk.
Yeah. I'm expecting.
I mean,
what I'm saying is, I'm
probably
expecting Usyk to win. But if there is a bet for any round knockout with Dubois, I would play it.
But like Witt said, I mean, Dubois gets overlooked a lot and makes people pay for it. So that fight will absolutely be worth my attention, and I will be watching. But yeah, I'll be picking Usyk.
Yeah. Hey, listen, Anthony Joshua went in there and slept on that boy. You understand me? Anthony Joshua got shown the mat multiple times in Wembley, which was for Anthony Joshua extremely unheard of. Extremely unheard of.
Yeah,
so I am afraid that if he gets caught, it'll be not like how he was getting caught with the Gypsy King's punches. It's a different person.
Well, we'll have to see. It'll be a full weekend of combat sports. Bobby, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
We pretty much covered it all. Shout out to Cross, who is in the chat. He put on the MMA fantasy league there. You can watch that on his Twitch. Throw your Twitch in the comments, Cross, or tweet it, and I'll retweet it. We got him drunk as fuck, but it was very entertaining. And so, yeah, very well done, Cross. But, yeah, I mean, we're going to have a locked and loaded weekend, or I guess we should say Saturday. So I can't wait.
Wait, any final thoughts before we get up out of here?
Nah, man, I'm excited. This is a weekend. I wanted to definitely participate and be on the show. I'm shaking the cobwebs off, guys. I'll be back full time, probably like in another month or so when get these schedules right with these churn. I got too many now.
Amen to that. But anyway, that's it, folks. If you're into the NFL, I'll be back tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Central, with all my gang from the LTS show. We are going to be doing starting our season 3 of football talk here on the Bodkins channel. We'll be previewing the NFC East, so tune in. So we'll talk about Bobby's Eagles and every other team in the NFC East. Kind of give our over/unders and over that. So please check us out, 8 o'clock Central. That is tomorrow night right here. Other than that, you can catch the three of us back next Wednesday, 8 o'clock Central, 9 Eastern. Be a friend, tell a friend, folks. Like, subscribe, share. We appreciate all the comments, everybody tuning in tonight. Appreciate Donn Davis again. Shout out Big Double D for joining us. And that's pretty much it, folks. See y'all. Be a friend, tell a friend. We'll catch y'all next week.
Go Birds. Dan Orlovsky's a fucking idiot.
Thanks so much for joining us, and until next time, let's talk sport, friends. Thanks for watching.